Within the confines of a makeshift operating theater, powerful surgical lights carve away the shadows left by the wan lighting of the infrastructure. Beneath the halo, Dr. Trace Penfield reverently orders his instrument tray. Prepare the mood compound, would you, Max? As Max Harper busies herself, Dr. Penfield turns to Ray's reclining uncomfortably on an exam table, an IV needle inserted into his neck. Let me explain what's about to happen. The Ludovico method has been a successful form of aversion therapy since the 1960s, originally used to inhibit violent behavior. Mood is a psychoactive compound designed to promote pro-social behavior, connection, serenity, emotional receptivity. To combine both processes, we use a delivery mechanism that exploits a flaw in your neuroarchitecture. By bonding the compound to recombinant vectors, mood integrates directly with the neural framework, repairing the instability at the genomic level. I trust you can see the improvement. The recombinant therapy has recently hit the market. Look, don't let the science intimidate you. I should inform you of the risk of inserting through the carotid artery and circle of Willis, that in a small number of cases, about 0.9%, the subject experienced unresolvable dissonance due to a stroke. It's rare, but it does happen. Allowing Penfield to resume his preparations, Max replaces him and rests a reassuring hand on Ray's forearm. You're doing fine. Look at it this way, he wants your informed consent. At that, Felix Dartman perks up on the next table and asks, Wait, you can have both? Rays and Max regard the large man credulously as he leers back at her. Penfield leans in to open the IV on both men, and for a long beat, nothing happens. But then the mood hits and everything changes. Rays begins to writhe, while beside him, Dartman starts hooting maniacally. We're on an express elevator and going down. See you in that hell of yours, brother. In agony, Ray's spine arches violently, as if his heart would burst from his chest. Yet he inhales gently, letting the air of the surgical theater savor his lungs. His exhalation is almost sensual, his face ecstatic, as he finally sees beyond the mote in his eye. And if something looked back, it didn't blink.
All right. Howdy, friends and floorheads. Connell, take us back to LA.
So we slide into, I think, the late afternoon hours of the 29th. Kai has sent Serena on an assignment to arrange a meeting with Oshawa McMillan at the Black Lotus brothel, which is run by Magda Rambis. Presumably, being the hype man for Cherney Barrick's fights, Oshawa knows the location of the replicant fights. Max Harper is the only survivor of the Lumina Lux assault by Rays a day and a half ago. She was pretty shaken up, and the officers at the scene had no reason to arrest her. She's not suspected of committing any crime, so she voluntarily chose to show up for an interview today. And I think Shu and Diaz are more or less at loose ends for this part of the investigation. So let me ask Diaz. You find yourself at your desk, and the blinking of a voice message, the unread voice message that you remember is from Kate Holloway, your key relationship. You've been ignoring it for about as long as you can. Curiosity gets the better of you, and you play it. I'm leaving for off world. Passage is tomorrow. This has been planned for a while. I had you booked, just didn't know if I was going to tell you. This is goodbye, Diaz. For good. Look, I know what you're working on. It's all over the net news. Drop it, Diaz. Grow old.
Diaz grabs his award from 8 years prior for some police thing, and he just stamps as hard as he can down on that phone as just a reaction. Uh, uh, Positive, negative thoughts running through his head. That's 24 hours old, right?
Yeah, give or take.
And Diaz is going for a walk. That's throwing a loop for him, and he needs to cool off and collect his thoughts.
So you smash the phone, and it draws some looks from the office. As you start to write it again, standing up and prepared to go for a walk, you notice the picture, the photograph of you, Holden, and Marlowe, who was another Blade Runner, that Holden gave you, I guess it was episode 1 or 2, when you had a drink in his office. It doesn't really have anything to do with anything. It's just another memory, another piece of history. Do you have a location, a goal in mind for your walk?
I'm either going to the roof or to the basement, whatever's quickest. And I'm smoking. I'm lighting up the cigar.
Let's say the basement. So the basement has the RIT lab with the morgue and all that jazz, but it also has, say, the shooting range. There are several levels of the basement. In fact, it's not just a single subfloor. It being late afternoon, people whose duty hours have ended are shuffling past you, and after a moment, you pretty much have the facilities to yourself. Coco has left, but Mirren is still there.
Now that I know that I'm nearby the shooting range, that's where he's going to go. That's where he's going to let out all of his frustration. And he's just going to go fire off some rounds.
Hey.
And it's going to be noticeable. It's going to be clack, 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 as not target practice. This is letting out frustration and rage.
Connell, is there any world where Shu might be in the building?
Yeah, absolutely.
What I'd like, if it's all right with the two of you, is for me to be sitting in a chair behind you, Diaz. You had your your audio protection on, so you didn't hear me. You were focused on shooting, so you didn't see me. But I think maybe when you turn around after you empty most recent clip and you're having the target come back to you, you might turn around and just see me kind of sitting there casually, legs crossed, not sitting up, kind of leaning down, slouching in the chair.
I'm going to wait to lock eyes with you, and I'm going to kind of vaguely point out that the lane next to me is open. If you want to
So
join
I'm
us.
going to gesture for you to take off your earphones.
Okay.
So they're probably going to dock you for the comms you broke.
Shoo, at this point, I don't care. I've put a lot of time and effort into this place. If they're going to dock me or fire me for that, they could fuck off.
You have someone to talk to? I think all of us need someone.
I didn't realize it till today, but I did. I think I lost
What's
my
going on, man?
opportunity.
So on that note, if I understand what you just said, if she's leaving off world, I mean, she'll be in the LAX spaceport, which is in Sector 12. It's not like a busy airport like we have today. I mean, these things have to be scheduled well in advance. So, and most of them take place at night. So you still have a shift. If you wanted to do something about it.
With that being said, I think that's the perfect opportunity for Shu to put those together for Diaz, because he just thinks that he's lost his opportunity to right the wrong or whatnot. But Diaz will definitely explain the voicemail. I think it's too late. I don't know if I'll get a chance to either make things work or not.
Well, listen. Bookworm and Kai and I can cover for you. You can sneak out. I guess my only real question is, do you have any idea why she wants you off what we're on? Or what she would know?
I don't.
You may make an insight roll if you wish.
I would love to roll. Unless you're talking to Craig, then insight.
As long as it's not Shriver, we should be good. Boom.
Oh, so this is a situation where a second success would be a critical and would be slightly more information. You don't have to push it. It is you'd be rolling a D6. So you have a 1 in 6 chance of picking up a critical, 1 in 6 chance of getting up.
It didn't do anything extra, so it's all good.
So I think with 1 success, why would she want you off? Well, given your mental state, I think your natural inclination is to, I mean, if she's referencing the news, that goes for the most salacious anyway, right? She's probably worried about your safety. I mean, this is a guy who just beat down Zula, torched Kanan headquarters. As it actually comes out that he killed 2 other peoples, at Kanan, a Dr. Ackerman and somebody named Haverford. So if you had to guess, it'd be that.
Shoot, the only thing I can think of is she has to be aware of the situation we're dealing with. Raised the Animoid, there's some gruesome things happening, and things keep escalating. That's I don't know. I definitely would like to know more.
I'm going to stand up, kind of walk up to you and put my right hand and grip your left forearm, like upper arm, and just look at you and go, you don't have to do this alone. And you don't honestly don't need to do it at all. Why don't you go say goodbye to your girl? We got this covered.
Connell, is there some sort of like USB stick in this world, right? With data, or how can I'm going to hand over the Blade Runner version of a thumb drive.
Sure.
Here's the pics of Kozlowski that needs further evaluation.
Where'd you get these?
So before you say that, let me explain how you might have done it.
Okay.
Everybody has a Kia, and so you could have uploaded that information to the mainframe. Have you? Or are
No.
you going to give him the actual pictures?
I'd like to give him the physical media or email link. I don't know.
Jesus Christ, Diaz. Where did these come from?
Paradise Evolution, he tells you, and that puts it squarely at Rue Hoskins.
Have you shown these to anybody?
You're the only one.
Immediately going into the inside pocket of my jacket.
All right.
Get out of here. And I walk
Thank
away.
you, Shu.
So it's interesting that he mentioned the white tiger, because over the past 24 hours if you recall, the sympathizer movement, the replicant rights movement, have been out in the streets and demonstrating, as well as, say, the human supremacists after Jell Schuyler, who is the publisher of Kill Magazine, which is this huge sort of tabloid mudraking journalist. And it's been escalating. Shriver actually witnessed a little bit of an incident when he was speaking to Libby Kozlowski the previous evening. As the escalation, as it's intensified, the white tiger has been seen more and more, and actually has been responsible for a death, maybe two, and a couple of serious injuries.
Don't tell Kai.
Shriver, Joshi tracks you down while you were in the building. Where does this take place? Where does she find you?
Coming out of the showers.
The last place she looked. She's waiting.
Nice dig.
She's waiting for you when you get out. The showers are actually unisex, they're male and female. The stalls, though, are private. But she's waiting for you at the lockers, and she's reclining in a very not a way that I would call professional. If you've seen Blade Runner 2049, you know how she sits, sort of with one leg draped over the other. This is the last place I look to find you. Do you have any idea where Diaz or the others are? She has a folder in her hand.
Yeah. I'm toweling off the head. I've already got pants pulled up fast. No. I was in the shower. Just a moment of privacy.
She looks at you strangely with the word privacy. She stands up and thrusts the folder into your hands. Overnight, an anonymous source dropped this off. I was going to give it to Diaz, but since he's missing, this goes to the task team. The other news is that Max Harper is showing up for her interview. She was the survivor of the Lumina Lux after the replicant assaulted it. She was pretty shaken up at the site. And because she's not suspected of any crime, they let her go with a promise that she'd present herself voluntarily for an interview, and she is due here in about 15 minutes.
I start like combing back the hair faster and pulling on clothing.
She leaves, and you look at the anonymous tip in the folder, and it is a UN report outlining their knowledge of the Shenyang debacle, for which Ray's was a ancillary part. He was actually on Ramanuja Station. The gist of it is that the UN knows it went down, that Canaan was chastised. They lost a lot. They gambled a lot and they lost a lot, and it was probably so they could control the Tannenhauser Gate. However, since they poured so much resources into it, they probably won't, and lost them. They will not be a problem going forward, and to prosecute them would potentially put Wallace Corporation on a monopoly footing for several industries. So in order to counterbalance the corporate environment, they elected to just sweep it under the rug.
Hey, boss.
And
You read
she's
this,
on her
right?
way out, and she turns around. Sir?
I assume you've read all this.
Yeah. Business as usual.
You good on us moving in here? Don't want to piss off any of your new friends.
I'm still just second chair until Holden's last day.
All right. I think as I'm getting my stuff back on, I also plug in my earpiece, and I've got a message from Spaceport Security that they have run a security check and they will be detaining the woman.
Which women?
I was hoping they're basically going to let the message just go, but I was imagining that Shu piped a message over, and that Shriver called in for a security check on a woman matching a description of Diaz's gal.
Oh.
Slow her down a little bit.
All right.
Ding ding.
Is everyone okay with this?
I'm good with that. I could see that.
Okay. Is there anything that Shriver would like to do before the interview with Max?
He'll go back over the audio recording one more time, where she was playing with her voice.
Yep, that's very inexpertly. She would start talking, and then she'd get hysterically high, and she'd she'd come back down, assuming, I guess, in her mind that it would spoof whatever recording or analyzing devices.
All right, so I carve out just a snippet of that. It's about 10 seconds long.
Okay.
And just do a quick loop function, and I'm just going to have that on the table as we interview.
Gotcha. So sorry. Kai. Serena Devine contacts you and tells you that the meeting that you asked her to arrange between Oshawa McMillan and yourself at the Black Lotus brothel will take place he's on his way. So if you could meet her there, she will fill you in.
Okay.
Any arrangements that you want to make before you go or on the way?
Yes. Would it cost me anything to kind of have a recording device on me?
You have a recording device on you. It's your Kia.
Okay, perfect. I want to call down to Shu. Shu, are you still coming to the brothel with me?
Yeah. Sure. It's about 20 minutes away, so I'll be there in 10.
Perfect.
Is everybody still wearing their undershirt armor?
I definitely will be going to this meeting wearing that. Yes.
Yes.
Shriver?
No.
Diaz?
No.
The only thing it affects is I believe, your stealth.
And
All right,
my
so-
fashion.
Gonna make it into Livia Esposito's next article, are you?
Cover story.
Okay, so who's driving? Because as I recall, Shu doesn't like to drive the spinner, and Kai has a spinner cycle.
I think I'm
Shu
going to
can
get my
drive on the back of my cycle.
Yeah, I don't think so.
What?
I might
I want
get
the fan art of that.
I might get a cab or something. I don't think I'm doing that. I think I'm going to meet you there. Or have some deputy drive me or something.
I would offer.
So, as Shriver is heading down to the interview room, which is first floor, first or second floor, but it's close to the entrance for the nice interview rooms are close to the entrance for the public. These are not this is not lockup where you want to interrogate suspects. This is a much more, I wouldn't call it plush, but it's definitely more comfortable. We're going to say that you've got everything that you want prepared when you enter. When you enter Max, in a word, Max Harper was mercurial in spirit and motion. She moved like smoke in a room, flirting with your senses. Spend any amount of time around her and you could see she was attractive, but not quite beautiful. Clever, but not entirely smart. Insouciant, but not blithe or indifferent. The woman was not a lady, but she smoldered. And if you lingered too long, you were sure to get burned. She is sitting behind or on the other side of the desk from you. The desk itself is lacquered, shining like a mirror, the lights reflecting back up. She has a cigarette, which is burned about halfway down. The blue smoke just hanging in the air above the table, swirling in whatever, air has been pushed around. She's dressed rather conservatively, legs crossed. I wouldn't say seductively, but she definitely knows what her most attractive angles are. Do you want her to start, or do you want to
Oh.
start?
Miss Harper, care for a cup of coffee?
I wouldn't be opposed.
Go over, pour a cup, take my time with it. Set down across the desk from her, leave the cup mostly on my side of the desk, and don't push it across to her. Got some questions for you. You've been near a certain person of interest, and you've been associated with a number of other curious events, and as all the things are coming together, I just see too much that you seem connected with. And I have to start to wonder, I eventually got to pull that thread.
So something I have forgotten to mention. She does not have legal representation with her, and it was her choice.
Mhm.
You're talking about Ray's. And she takes a nervous drag.
Is that name public?
No.
Am I? Tell me about Ray's.
She stamps her cigarette out, lights up another one, you suspect for time to think. Ray's came to us because he couldn't go to a medical facility at first. Well, at first he came to us because he couldn't go to a medical facility, and we treated him for some pretty intense physical trauma. After a while, this was a repeat occurrence, and he showed up with a surprising amount of money for a replicant and began to get some upgrades. Dr. Penfield sold him on some of the latest Antileos models, some modifications upgrades which are not strictly, well, they operate in a gray area of the market.
I take it you could give me the specs on all of these.
Yeah. She gives you the list of his upgrades. He has Osprey 5S ocular implants, a thoracic combat chassis reinforced, basically a bionic arm, left arm. Not too dissimilar from what Felix Dartman actually had.
All right. So I haven't exactly had to put the screws to you. Why are you here telling me all this now?
She gives you a curious look. She actually, I tell you what, do me a favor. Make an insight roll against her manipulation.
Seeing how far I could get without having to roll.
Let's see. I know Max has.
Look at you.
I have a success.
Because you are passive, you will not, the passive participant in the dice roll, you won't be able to push it.
Oh.
Well, she only got a net of one success. And this isn't a situation where I take control of your character or anything. I'm just, she gives you this look. It's a very appealing look. And you don't know how, from a one success, or granting her one success, but she somehow, while she's been talking, has gotten the measure of you. And as somebody who looks for patterns, right, you recognize game and realize that you are on the back foot here. And what tipped you off is she gave you a look that appeals to that part of your brain that wants you to protect. What did she do to trigger that?
She'd have had to seem like a victim.
Well, that's pretty easy for her to do then. Going back over the interview thus far, you realize that she's been smoking like someone still coming out of shock. Her eye makeup is smudged, just slightly, not enough to, look like to draw attention on the street, but just enough that it gives her that her eyes look a little bigger than they might, and she looks a little more desperate. I'd like to pivot over to Kai. So Shu hasn't made it to you yet, but you're outside of Black Lotus, and you and she are exchanging information. She's in a spinner, mobility assisted device.
Mhm.
Based on spinner technology, she has multiple sclerosis and a slightly advanced state. She tells you, as she's filling you in on how all this came about, Oshawa and Voronova have a very public affair, though his interest seems to have waned. He has a new beau, as I understand it. Voronova hasn't been seen in days, and I suspect she is staying with a man named Jalil Salarin, a real Johnny-come-lately. Oh, the money hate him. But that poor girl is in a bad way, and Salarin is taking advantage of that. For what purpose, I cannot divine. Oshawa, as it turns out, maintains a charitable disposition towards Voronova, and I imposed myself on his nostalgia to introduce me to Magda Rambus, who raised the girl into a woman, so that we may find a way to save her. You'll have to talk fast to get Magda to let you in, but Oshawa should be coming around any time. I hope that satisfies your request. It was the best I could manage on short notice.
That does well.
So are you waiting for Kai, or are you going to try to talk Magda into letting you in?
I mean, wait for Shu.
Yes.
Sure. Well, I might as well get started with the ass kissing right away.
Do you want Serena to stick around, or you want her to go ahead and knock off?
She can go ahead and go off.
Okay. Good luck, she says. Oh, actually, let me, because I pulled it. Serena Devine was sharp of eye, sharp of mind, and sharp of cheekbone. She was an island beauty whose pedigree was written in sugar and sweat. Her family's wealth could buy them passage to LA when their beloved Martinique was swallowed by the sea, but she couldn't save her body from the ravages of multiple sclerosis. It did afford her a mobility device powered by Spinnertech. Now she punched for the LAPD and managed to snoop into places where you wouldn't think her chair could take her.
I'm going to knock on the door.
Honestly, your humble GM has forgotten what he named the replicant that answers the door, so we will just call him Janus. Janus opens rather quickly. Johnny on the spot. He recognizes you from before and begins to shut the door.
Here we go with the foot again. Foot in the door.
Pardon me, madam.
I have business here today. A meeting even. To spend money, all the whatnot.
He looks uncertain.
Go grab your boss.
No need, as it turns out. Magda is once again, as last time, behind him. But this time, there's a pause before she addresses him and tells him to let you in. He looks like he thinks she's out of her mind, but he does acquiesce, open the door, and allow you entry into the inner sanctum of the Black Lotus. It is, as you remember it, pretty sumptuous. Stairs leading up. There's the bar in the front room. There are some tables. Plenty of places for ladies to stand and present themselves. And the hallway which leads into the back. Change your mind? I can't. Well, in a European accent, she says, change your mind on the bed, detective?
Oh, something of that nature. I need to utilize one of your rooms for a meeting. Do you mind?
She seems genuinely confused. Do you give her a moment to stumble, or are you going to fill in the gap?
I'm going to fill in the gap. Don't give her time to think. I figure that I do actually enjoy your establishment, despite our little tit for tat the last time I came here, and maybe a present for this will come out of it for you.
So most people, when you say you have a gift for them, they look, they're trained to look happy at first, right?
Mhm.
Like their eyes will go wide, like Christmas. Magda is wearing gingham style, kind of 40s retro. You can still see the skull on her left hand, but she has lacy, sort of frilly wrists that hide the daggers. Her hair, she must have had somebody else do it for her,
Mhm.
because it's not elaborate, but it's certainly sophisticated. Most people are glad to receive a present. Magda's reaction is just the opposite, as her eyes narrow. And what is this gift? Surely, as much as I enjoy your presence,
Oh, thank you.
not just you.
No, of course not.
And she
My
takes a
part.
couple steps towards you.
Mhm.
And not threatening or anything, just
Yeah.
now you've got her curious.
If all goes well, something to get your boss off your back a little bit longer.
Now you do have her interest and curiosity. And what is this that you know of my boss?
I know nothing. I'll know more depending how this conversation goes.
Well, she's willing to hear you out.
So, I'll be upfront with you. I'm having a meeting here with somebody that's going to tell me where the underground fights are.
Ooh.
And that recording can be yours because it's
Ooh.
worth your boss knowing that there's a snitch among them.
Have you dropped Oshawa's name yet?
No, not yet.
Okay. She motions you back over to the bar.
Mm-hmm.
Lights a cigarette again in her sort of ritualistic way on this nifty little contraption. Pours each of you a whiskey again.
Mm-hmm.
Was it neat?
Mm-hmm.
For Kai? I do not know what game you play, detective. So tell me again what details you gave her.
That essentially someone's going to give me the location of the underground, and depending on who that person is, it will be recorded and sent to her to utilize as she will.
She has a name in mind that she thinks this is. You don't know who it is that she's thinking of, but she has settled on that you must mean somebody in particular.
Who do you think I mean?
Oh, you're asking her that?
Oh, yeah.
Ah.
I don't have time. Shu drives fast, or he bullies people into driving quickly.
He's gonna completely undermine all of everything you've accomplished so far if you don't
Gotta
hurry
do this
up.
quickly.
So Shu, actually, let's go to you real quick. You said you're taking public transportation.
Yeah.
So normally, for most detectives, this would involve a connections roll, and that would actually determine how much time it takes to get from point A to point B using the public transportation. However, Shu is a city speaker,
hmm
and he has the ability to navigate the city like almost no other on the force. So tell us how, using all the public transportation of our contemporary time, how do you make it from the LAPD headquarters all the way up north to Sector 1?
I think I have a caddy that I use pretty regularly because he can keep his mouth shut. And I shoot him a quick note message to pick me up at the station. I did this even before I started the conversation with Diaz. He scoops me. And annoyingly, what he's used to is I'm giving him directions, like it's his first day on the job, even though he's been driving for decades. And I think whether it's the shortest route or not, he lets me think it is as we go.
So he, of course, as is his habit with you, pushes back so that you two argue most of the way about, no, look, I know what I'm doing. Yeah, you got to go this way, and look what time it is. No, we have, those demonstrations. They're in full force. And actually, as he's driving you, on the streets, now that you can see the streets, there are you've seen pockets of demonstrators. You haven't seen
Right.
any well organized. Certainly no real violence, but there's been a lot of yelling and a lot of new graffiti. Some of that graffiti says, painted in or tagged in this sort of bright fluorescent green, "Kill the killers." It's a refrain you see repeated a few times on your way. You make it to. Are you going to have him deliver you to Black Lotus?
Yep.
All right. Well, he lets you out.
Knock on the door.
Would Shu knock or would Shu just enter?
I would knock.
Okay. Kai, at this point, you hear a knock at the door. Janus appears to Magda first to see what his instructions are.
And you get on your Kia, Kai, you get a message saying here.
Should we allow ourselves to be interrupted?
He can wait 2 minutes. Ice and back. Give me 2 minutes.
The knocking stops.
Madam, I do actually like you as a person. I feel like this could be an excellent working relationship. Unless you have other of my kind in good contact with you.
She looks at Janus and I assume Janus actually has told her who is at the front door, and she says, It lets him stew another minute, and then lets him in. Detective, if you would follow me, please.
Of course.
And she takes you down that corridor, which sort of takes a left behind the bar where she was serving you. And she takes you to a closed wooden door. You don't know if it's real wood, but it has the look, so it's well crafted no matter what. She unlocks it, and she pushes it open into a more sumptuous room, if you will. There's a bed. It is the largest bed that you've seen.
Hmm.
The whole room actually is very feminine, very tastefully old world done. But it isn't just a boudoir. It's actually also an office.
Okay.
You can see the desk where she does her work. There are bills or paper, all sorts of stuff that you would expect to see from any business establishment. There are also pictures, cherished photographs, one of which actually several photos have Magda with the same young lady,
Mhm.
and an older version or an older teen version that you recognize as Voronova.
Okay.
And they are close in all of the photos. Actually happy in a couple of them. She took you back here to give you something related to your case. What is it that she's going to give you that will help you? Oh, it's clear that she has a name in mind. She didn't answer when you asked, but she gives you something. What is it that she gives you?
Something to help make the person talk. It could be a bit of blackmail. Something that would sway the conversation into my favor.
What actually isn't exactly what you think. Well, it's not something that will do that for you because it is dirt on Rue Hoskins.
Oh, that's interesting.
Ooh.
And it's something we can come up with later. The exact nature, what it is exactly.
Okay.
So Janus answers the door, Shu, and lets you in. You enter, and neither Magda nor Kai are in immediate evidence.
Do you just open doors, or are you going to take me to where my partner is?
He is a Nexus 9 and seems to think about this for a moment. Takes a step back to make sure that he has plenty of clearance when he raises his hand, sort of to arrest any thought that you might have of progressing past him. It is, of course, pretty ineffectual, but performative. Please wait here, sir. May I get you a drink?
Yeah. But all of this needs to happen fast as I look at my Kia.
So back in the boudoir,
Mhm.
before the two of you go back up front, is there anything that you want to ask her?
Out of curiosity,
Oh.
what do you know of Anne McMillan?
So as she is putting everything right, whatever it took to upset, whatever she had to move to give you that evidence, you see another tattoo on the nape of her neck. That is a cross. That's a very simple cross. And it looks like it's been touched up relatively recently with, it looks like cobwebs and a spider sort of descending on a string. You mentioned McMillan. And actually, before she turns around, you notice that she looks at the picture of Voronova,
Hmm.
one of the pictures of Voronova and her. What is that little, and she uses a very rude word here. What has he done?
Oh, nothing yet.
Yet? Now she's suspicious again. Oh, he is the one who is coming today.
Of course.
What business do you have that for him here that you could not do in your lockup?
Oh, tell me, is this not so much more fun?
Your fellow detective is waiting, and she sort of ushers you out with her hand. Shriver. Armed with that knowledge, what's your next play?
I'd slide the coffee closer to her. Then here's what I don't get. Why'd Dartman have to die?
That will take a manipulation. And I'm afraid it will require quite the success.
4 eyeballs. Do it. All right.
A success. I will push this one.
Well, let's see what she gets. Because she might not get anything.
She got a horsey.
Ah! My eyeball beats her horsey.
It does.
Oldest game in the book.
Those Roman games were weird.
She, if you think that everything she's done so far has been performative, this is the first genuine emotion that you've seen. And it's anger. No, it's fury. Would you like to know what he said he was going to do to me?
You're here to talk. I'm here to find out why people are dead.
Rays came to town, and Dartman came and told me that I was going to be his, that Rays was going to burn this city down. And he thought he was doing me a favor. He thought that I would know he loved me because he did that.
All right. Say I go with that. Why then? Why that moment?
I
You made a
wasn't going
phone
to-
call. You risked yourself. You chose. This is a man you knew. You knew he was a threat. What made that the moment you decided to murder him?
Murder him? You're a Blade Runner. It's your job. He was a Nexus 8.
No. In this, you made us your weapon.
Mm.
Civic duty.
Why then? What was the
She
last
was-
straw?
Being violated wouldn't be enough. That's not
Would be.
motivation enough. Our Trace's experiments He wanted to cure the Nexus 8 of their emotional instability so they could be added to the schedule for replicant reintroduction by the UN's she's referring to the UN Replicant Reintroduction Act of 2036. He wanted to not have any more Blade Runners retire replicants. Felix, there was no curing Felix. He had he was engineered with no moral center. Ray's was a different story. Ray's we thought he was a Nexus 9, or we thought he was a Nexus 8, but he's something older. When Dr. Penfield gave him the treatment, he had some sort of psychotic break. He came out of it more aware, more spiritual. But Dartman was unleashed. Any inhibitions that he had, he lost. I cannot handle Felix Dartman. So yes, it was your job.
And I'm buying, like, my read is she's on the level with this.
I don't think we need to make a roll. I think you've made her you've seen her drop her facade.
I slide the coffee across the table to her.
I don't think she takes it. I do think that following this, she smokes nervously for a moment, stamps her second cigarette out. You see her beginning to break, but her pride compels her to say or ask, "Are we done here?"
He died ugly. Gasping. Broken. Take that with you.
You gonna let her leave?
Yeah, if I think that's what I've got from her.
Shu and Kai, how do you want to meet Oshua when he arrives?
Inside. And I'm going to look at Shu and say, all right, it seems like the madam of this place does not like this gentleman here. I want him to tell us where the underground fight is on recording.
You know what, Kai? The more we work together, the more I think we should work together.
I agree with that.
I respect the shit out of that. You can see it in my face. I'm thinking, if you're okay with it, Kai, take one of the pleasure rooms and just have him escorted there when he arrives. And
perfect.
Yeah, you and I there. Or would you want me to show up after, or would you want to show up after? Like, what are we thinking is the best way to play this?
No, I think we can tag team this one.
Okay.
Magda allows you into one of the girls' rooms. I don't think there's anything there. I think she just has the day, so she goes out, and you guys are awaiting Oshua.
There's a bit of an awkward moment where I just instinctively go and sit down on one of the beds, and then I stand back up again.
I just look at you.
I just
I
lean up
mean-
against the wall.
I don't know, Shu. You're awfully familiar in this sort of surrounding. This sort
Well,
of
that's
environment.
why, right? So immediately I just walk in and sit on the bed like I normally would, and then I realize this is
Somebody's
a different time and
getting fed
place.
to the tiger.
It's
So,
not a look of judgment, more so disappointment. But I'm not shocked.
no, I don't think you would be. So I
Not
I lean up against the wall.
So, Diaz, you are speeding to LAX immediately, or do you have other preparations that you want to take?
Immediately.
So, you are in the air, and I'm going to say, let's say that you are, I think the sky is actually clearing. It's only partly cloudy, which is a little unusual. You can actually see the sun beginning to disappear to your left as you head north. You get a coded message via your Kia or your spinner computer. It is a message that you have arranged with the leader of the replicant underground. Her name is Freysa. It doesn't necessarily mean she's on the other end of it, but it's a code that tells you that she wants to speak to you. So what is it, and what do you do about it? Are you intrigued enough to answer?
I think at this moment I'm not too intrigued to answer right now. But I guess the question is based on my conversation with Shu earlier, does it hit home enough towards like, hey, maybe Shu can handle this if it's something separate than more, or is it more personal connection that I'm worried about, right?
So it is the leader of the replicant underground, who, even though you have worked with her in the past, clearly wouldn't just want to catch up. Obviously has something important to say. Now, you can give this to somebody else, and they can follow up on it.
Is this a phone call coming in, or a message, or a?
It's a message of some
Code
sort.
message.
You can tell me what it is, and we can work from there. So maybe it's a 4-letter, maybe it's the street corner, or some sort of a password that comes over via the Wallace Data Network's email, system.
Gotcha. Okay, so it's something coded to let me know, hey, reach out.
Yep.
I'm going to interpret that as I need to call Freysa at a public phone that only is accessible in her area, and try to get in touch with her while I'm driving or flying to LAX.
Okay. Well, if you're going to call her, let's do that now then.
Okay.
She answers in a slightly Hindu accent. Diaz, are you free to talk?
I have a little bit of time before my destination. Please proceed, Freysa.
You know this replicant that you're chasing. He just took 180 of my best soldiers. And I think this is a good time for a break.
All right, we'll be back in 10 minutes.
Welcome back, friends and floorheads. We are in the skies over Sector 1, and a relatively peaceful late afternoon seeing the sunset. Diaz, Freysa has just dropped a bomb on you that the guy you're looking for, the replicant, RZE, has stolen 180 of her soldiers away from her, Freysa being the leader of the replicant underground.
Freysa, I must have heard you wrong. Did you say 180 of your soldiers?
Yes,
How long ago was this?
this was last night. She tells you, and you figure it was sometime after he disappeared in the tunnels.
Mm.
He came and he challenged me, knowing that. And she chokes up a little bit here. I have not been too involved since Ash died. And he used that to turn them against me. I wanted to keep going forward slowly to not. We can't keep having these insurrections. It just makes things more difficult. I told them this. We have an arrangement with the LAPD. We have upheld our bargain. But now Ray's. He came in spouting some merciless bullshit.
Do you have any idea where any of your soldiers might be at right now? Do you have any way of contacting anybody?
No. I know that they left Retirement Row. They could be heading to the financial district. But look, this is not the first time I have dealt with Rays. He came to me a year or so ago wanting to join the rebellion. But there's a syndicate, the Cherny Berrig, Black Shores. We used them to ferry our replicants off-world. And we had an arrangement, and I did not want to upset that. And Reyes was making them a lot of money in this underground fight of theirs. So I refused him, and somehow he escaped and is now, well, I don't need to tell you, he's been on a path of revenge since he came back into town.
Freysa, thank you for coming to me with this information. I'm on it. If you find out that the location of any of your team, any of your old soldiers that you may still be in contact with, or if they reach out,
No.
if something comes up, please call me. If not, I'll be in touch.
I cannot help you kill. I'm sorry. I just wanted to warn you. I don't know where this ends.
All right, Freysa, I'll be in touch.
Well, what are you going to do with that information?
I instantly bring
Break
up
the
my,
other phone?
Yeah, I was going to say, hey, Siri. No, I'm reaching out to Shu immediately, and it's a voicemail, text message. No, it'll be a voice memo. Shu, I got terrible news. Freysa reached out. Reyes took 180 of her soldiers last night, shortly after timing kind of aligns with the tunnel thing. And she mentioned that might be heading towards the financial district. Can you please follow up on that? I will reach out as soon as I'm done with what I got to do. And that's the message.
I reply instantly on it.
Well, let's put a pin on that real quick. because at this point you hear the knock down at the front door, and the doorman opens it. You have not yet received Diaz's message.
Gotcha.
What about Oshawa's footsteps on the staircase let you know that he's excited?
The pace of it.
Yeah, it's almost a skipping.
Yeah.
He's already annoying me. He hasn't even gotten in the room yet.
Oshawa opens the door and sees you. Oh, man. Who are you folks? So Oshawa is I don't have anything prepared for him, any noir voiceover. He is a urban influencer. He's a hype man, right? Very handsome, very well manicured. He's got finger rings, and his signature stance is sort of leaning back with his hands poked forward. And in a hollow ad, this looks really cool because the hands are coming out, and he's just dripping with ostentatious wealth. He's in sort of the street uniform de rigueur, this sort of orange padded anorak, I guess. And he just completely falls in on himself. You are cops, aren't you?
Oh, we wouldn't go that far. And I'm going to lean over and just shut and lock the door behind him.
So he follows you, and it's like, oh, man, you got Magda? Wow. Who are you, really?
Have a seat. Have a seat. Get comfortable.
Are you going to show him your badge?
I will.
Going to let him look at it, or are you going to flash it?
I'm going to flash it.
Okay, so it's sort of your intention to not let him know you're Blade Runners yet?
Yeah. More so I'm flashing my gun.
Well, the gun is a dead giveaway. No, Blade Runners. And he's all happy, obviously, because he's not a replicant. So he figures he's safe.
That's fair. So you're the hype man of Cherney Barrett.
I guess that's no secret now.
Well, no, I don't think you make any of this a secret, actually. Where's the underground fighting ring?
Damn, girl, we're getting right to it.
We are. So I might not be able to hurt you, but you can still be hurt. So have a seat.
Well, wait a second. That woman in the wheelchair, she said this was about Voronova. And so how do you fit in? Voronova's not a skin job.
I don't understand, Kai, and I'm not even acting like he's in the room.
Mm-hmm.
So I just turn. He goes, Kai, I'm confused. I thought we were the one that was asking questions.
Yeah, I thought that as well.
So ask. So he throws up a exaggerated gesture and just plops down on this very well appointed chair in this prostitute's room.
I can see why Magna hates him. Where's the underground fighting ring?
So much like Shriver with Max, you're watching him do the math in his head. He's here at Black Lotus. Magda didn't greet him at the door, which, to be honest, fair to him, it's not unusual. Well, it's not usual for him to come here to begin with, but you guys have taken over the Black Lotus brothel, and now you're asking him about the replicant underground.
Mhm.
Would you please make me a manipulation roll? And I think you have everything on your side to do it at advantage.
Yeah, I was about to say, if I need to give her advantage, I have ideas.
No, I think.
That is
Shit.
what I am
Fuck.
freaking talking about, Kai.
Do I even have to roll? All right, let's see here.
4 successes.
Just in case.
Oh yeah, no, he sings. He sings like a parakeet that used to sing when they were still parakeets. Hey, because he thinks so. This is his mindset, sort of as it unfolds. He thinks that you've cracked the nut, right? I mean, look, they move around. All right. This month it's in the LA Hills. Next month it's on the edge of the Kipple. Maybe it's even all the way down in San Diego. Okay. I don't know. I don't know. They call me the day before, and I just get out and I do my thing, right? And he makes all these ludicrous hand gestures, that secret code, like,
Okay.
I-
Tell me everything. And I want to make this vague, because if he's already spilling everything, he might trip up and spill some additional things on Cherney Barrett.
So, I think he actually wisens up briefly, and obviously has seen too many movies, because he's like, wait a second, I know I'm supposed to have a lawyer. You guys can't just. Why are you even asking me it here?
So again, not acknowledging that he's in the room breathing the same air as Kai and I go over, don't ask why I know they're in there, and pull out a drawer and just pull out these 2 thick leather like buckles. And I just casually walk over to the chair, again, not acknowledging his presence. And I just casually start strapping his arms to the arm of the chair, just one at a time, as Kai's talking to him.
So for a 19-year-old kid, 19, 20, maybe 21, I think he is back in a very intimidated headspace. Hey, what are you doing? What do you want to know?
Everything. Keep talking. You're doing a great job.
Just pull the strap on the first arm.
Well, what would you let's approach it this way. What would
Okay.
you like to know? You ask the GM for a topic, and I will tell you.
Of course. So, of course, everything about the underground fighting ring, which sounds like he just spilled out everything and that he knew. But
That's-
I'm going to ask, tell me a little bit about Churning Barrett. Tell me a little bit about your boss.
So, he starts off with the underground fights are Rue Hoskins' job. That's his territory. He started off as a driver, but now, mind you, as I go through this, you did ask for everything.
Mm-hmm.
He started off as a driver, but the either the Yakuza or the Triad tried to do an assassination on Voronov and his daughter Voronova. Rue kept his head, was totally protected them. After it was all done, Voronov was impressed, put him in charge of guarding Voronova full time. The two didn't get along. I mean, really, she to this day, she goes on about how much she hates him. I always kind of wondered, though. But anyway, so as Hoskins rose in the ranks of Cherney Barrig, he got more and more responsibility, even though he can never actually be one of the brothers, because he's a coon ass. So, seeing that you don't really care about that, he moves on. And they put him in charge of running the fights, and he's the one who hired me as their hype man because they know quality.
They sure do.
Second arm. I just pulled a strap tight.
Yes. So Rays and the White Tiger were both fighting in the underground.
Hmm.
I came in way after that. I've only been doing this for maybe a year. So Rays was already there, but I mean, he's clearly from off-world, right? I mean, he's all over the net now, so he was probably brought in from off-world by Sin Moria. Sin Moria is this really creepy Nexus 5 pilot that Voronov has. And he probably brought the White Tiger too. I don't know. That's the smuggling and the trafficking. I got nothing to do with that. Really, all I do is just like drive business their way.
Okay.
But it all goes down. It's all headquartered in on the docks, Warehouse 10. They have when Sin Moria comes down, his point of contact is the old wreck of the Empress Sarah out beyond. It's way beyond the seawall now, and then they just ferry everything in past customs because Cherny Barrick owes customs, and they keep everything in Warehouse 10.
Hey, Kai.
Yes.
We've been working really hard.
Yeah.
And I think we're about due for a night of entertainment. Do you have any idea when the next fight might be? Or how we could find that out?
And actually, I think two things happen. One, you get Diaz's ding, and two, Oshawa, as only a immature young man with too much money coming his way can do, gives you a look like you're short, and says or claims, like on the first of every month, duh. So you get Diaz's text or mail.
So you see me look down, Kai,
Mm-hmm.
and I look it up, and I essentially give you a look like we need to wrap this shit up.
Okay.
So you can see the look of fear on my face. Like whatever I just looked at is obviously is critical. So Kai, I'm again not addressing him. Only
Okay.
you. And I just say real quick, I say, Kai, I wonder if there's somebody who could tip us off on the first of the month, or maybe the day before, on when the next fight is and where it is. Do you know anybody?
Oh no, that shit's been shut down. You don't think that their prize cockfighter just was given a week's liberty? Yeah?
Well,
No, man. When Ray's left. All right, look.
okay.
I don't know much about this. It's Rue Hoskins' wheelhouse. I mean, he's in charge of the egg hunts too. But they take replicants out into the kipple, out near Las Vegas, and it's these. Usually, it's just Nexus 9s, and they can't defend themselves, right? And these rich folk and these politicians, they all come and they pay to go out and hunt replicants in this egg hunt. Michael Voronov, he I don't have the full story, but he wanted to sweeten the pot for some politicians who demanded that Rays and the White Tiger be part of the deal. Hoskins was against it because they make a lot of money, made a lot of money, but Voronov put them in, and then the politician ends up dead. That's all I know.
So the
And
politician who wanted to hunt them is dead.
apparently got mauled by that tiger, and they're both in town, and Voronov shut down the fights. You didn't know that? Did you even
I'm wa-
bother asking anybody on the streets?
I'm walking out the door.
I'm gonna take his face. I suggest you keep this conversation between us.
You gonna turn off the recording?
Oh yeah.
Show them that you got the
please.
recording.
Oh yeah. Okay. Especially go underground because Ray's mentioned you by name. And I'm gonna leave.
Hey, wait. To his credit, as you are shutting the door, his first thought is, wait a second, what about Voronova? Hey, and then you hear him struggling against the straps on the chair. Hey, wait. Shriver.
All right.
Well, let me go back to Shriver real quick.
Oh yeah, you're good.
After Max leaves, what do you do?
I go back to my desk, turn up the music a bit, settle down and start doing some work. Fife starts up, and this is, remember, Fife is my digi in the form of a hand. It is the James Joyce of personal insults. It just keeps on going without really a period attached. When I imagine I get the message.
Which message?
The one about how there are 150 replicants or 180 replicants now in an army.
Yeah, I would have immediately sent it to Shriver.
So that plays out.
Sure. It's actually not that message that you get, though.
Okay. What plays out?
You get a call from Libby Esposito.
All right.
You take it?
Yeah, just got me in a moment. Miss Esposito, weren't we just talking a little while ago?
It seems that way. I think I can trust you. And that's the only reason I'm calling.
That's a big word. What are you trusting me with?
Can we meet in a non-government office? I mean, not like any place. Can we just meet?
When?
Now.
Give her the name of a noodle shop. It's over near Litwickies.
Okay. On your way there, I assume that you're heading that way.
Grab my jacket.
As you are, you're taking a spinner, or is it close enough to walk?
I think we've established Shriver probably takes the spinner everywhere.
Once you get to the top, as you are getting to the top, you get a ding. You forestall it until you get into the spinner and get into the air. Then you check it. It is Shu's message.
Shriver actually pulls out of the lane of traffic for a moment, the general flow, and just looks down at it. And even Fife is quiet for a moment. And you just get just silence, and then you're fucked. And then goes back into the insults. Okay. While still processing, let's go talk to Libby Esposito.
So you will get there before her. So let me step back to Shu, Kai, because I think she had something to follow up on.
Oh, real quick.
Jeez.
Once I hear what Shu shares with me, I'm like, that's a problem.
I think we get the band together, the four of us, and get over to the
Probably.
warehouse sooner than later. You can only hide 180 people so many places. So it's either the tunnels or that warehouse, or at least that warehouse might point us in the right direction.
Warehouse might go underneath the tunnels as well.
The warehouse 10.
Mhm.
Okay, so warehouse 10 is in sector 12. Let me give you a little perspective on this real quick. So I'm going to bring up the map. So currently, Shu and Kai are like at sector 1, right about
Mhm.
here in the at that. Sector 12, as you can
Oh.
see, is the box is where you're sort of in the north. What is it? North west corner. So sector 12 is all the way down near San Diego,
Yep.
and the LAX. Oh, your humble GM messed up his directions. I'm so sorry, Diaz. You were actually heading south, and the warehouse 10 is over here. I'm sorry. Yes, the docks. They come in the docks, and then they take everybody to the warehouse district. And another detail that Max Harper gave you that I forgot to include, it just didn't come up. The experiments were done in the municipal waste and sanitation, also known as the trash mesa.
And I think the plan I'm going to propose to Kai
Mhm.
before I send it to Diaz and Shriver is we need to get to sector 12, need to meet and spend a couple minutes coming up with a plan, and then we need to go into the warehouse. And I'm trying to gauge, Kai, what your thoughts are on that.
100 plus fighters in general is going to need more than the four of us.
I agree.
Mhm.
But I'm also not. I also don't want I don't want 100 of us going into the warehouse. I think let's figure out what's going on, and if we have any sign that this is where him and his army are, I'm not saying we take them on ourselves.
All right, let's go.
So that was a group discussion.
So after I get done with Kai, I'm just going to
Mhm.
send a message. How far would from a time perspective would it be for me and Kai to get there if we were to leave right now, just roughly?
Even it is a half. It is like almost a shift. It's a half shift just to
Okay.
get out to sector 12. So it's quite the commitment. It would be well into after. It would be after midnight by the time everyone got there.
So,
Diaz has a couple hours head start, so he's about halfway there now.
so I'm just going to send the coordinates 1 a.m. and I'm going to do it for like maybe a block or two away from the warehouse.
We might want to send one suit over at least to the financial district, just because it was mentioned.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Mm.
So Shriver, I'm sorry, shoot, Kai, you were about to say something.
Before you cut off to me, I was just going, and who the hell is Rue Hopkins?
Shriver, you are early. I assume the noodle bar is open air.
Yeah. He walks up to the counter, grabs his noodles, and then steps away. He sits in the cab of his car and eats.
The sun has gone down. The skies are still, they're beginning to cloud over. But there's no rain in the forecast, oddly, for once in a blue moon. but the streets are still slick with steam and runoff and people cleaning the sidewalks, the municipal sanitation. So that just a billow of steam blows past the this noodle bar that you're at. Libby Esposito drives up in her GBS van, Mega News van. It's a show on the Global Broadcast System, GBS, which is more or less a UN mouthpiece. She exits. I assume that you're going to make yourself visible. So she comes right over to you. How do you know that this is not her first clandestine rodeo? What does she do? How does she approach that lets you know that, one, she's serious about this, that she's done it before, and gives you confidence that she knows what she's doing?
Well, first off, she's checking her corners as she's approaching, but also when she feels like she's in the clear and we're sitting far enough away, she signals back to her guy back in the van, who repositions the van to block the rest of the alleyway.
Okay. She sits right next to you. Actually, we're going to say they're sort of stools, so she's able to pick it up and actually get a little closer than is comfortable for just two casual people. Actually, I think she makes it visible that she is putting her left arm. She's seated to your right. She puts her left arm on your thigh in a familiar manner.
Chapter 7. Shriver's got game.
Trying so hard to be left alone.
Yeah, she'd feel a little twitch in the thigh. She can read into that what she will, but Shriver is holding extra still now.
When you twitch, you actually feel her clamp a little tighter.
Mm-hmm.
And she actually she tells you, don't be nervous. This is okay.
That immediately makes people nervous,
In her professional journo voice. Thanks for meeting me. I didn't want to meet in a government office because, especially the LAPD, because I don't know how deep it goes. She has two bits of information for you. One dealing with the demonstrations that are currently going on, and one about Kozlowski. Which do you want to hear first?
The demonstrations that are going on right now.
So last night I had Jell Schuyler on. He's the head of he publishes Kill magazine, and he's sort of just the face of the human supremacist movement right now, the humans first. And he accused Antileos concern of astroturfing the demonstrations. That they're not that they're not as grassroots, that they're inflating it, they're just making it look worse than it is. And this didn't seem right. So I did a little digging, and I found out that it's true. Or Antileos just doesn't, or I was correct. Antileos does not have the resources to do that. They've got a big market share in biohacking and upgrades at the moment. They sell to things like Luminolux that you guys took, or that Rays took down. No, that your replicant took down. And they have close ties to something called the Rosen Association. A real secret hush-hush. And all I could get on them before I was shut out was that the board is made up of the board of governors is made up of engineers and executives from all of the major tech corporations, including Wallace, Canaan, and she goes down several others. And the head is somebody named Jalil Solarin, who only appears on public records in 2037.
Libby, if you're here to tell me that the corpos are running a conspiracy to control most of our daily lives, I'll tell you, yes, it is Tuesday.
She lifts up, because she also writes for the consumer tech magazine, and so she lifts up her cell phone, with whatever the equivalent of a cell phone is, and she looks like she's going to take a selfie with her boyfriend, but instead she shows you images that you assume is her apartment, and the door is open, and through the crack you can see that it has been tossed.
You did get too close.
I don't know if that's what did it, though.
Hey, hang on a second, honey. Hey, Duncan, give me a double Hassan. Talking to the guy running the noodles. Turns his back to us, sets the steamers on high, and there's a little extra steam, a little extra cloud that'll also stop people who are at least across the counter from us from being able to see us quite as clearly.
Okay.
It's my noodle shop.
I work at GBS. And she puts away her phone at this point. And she had several, she got a message, a threatening message as well. Back off, right? It's just some sort of anonymous thing. So a few days ago, and she gives you, I've forgotten the date right offhand, but the date that Charles Whitman was pronounced dead, that they actually identified his body. I was on the desk and I noticed that Police Commissioner Kozlowski filed to run for Whitman's seat. And I was confused at first because it was a full 15 minutes before the news that he had been found dead was released. I just figured she had that paperwork in her back pocket, and when the information came over the LAPD mainframe, she had first access to it, and she just jumped. Dirty business as usual. But now I'm not so sure. What you guys have been kicking over some hornet's nests. And we just kind of look at what carnage is left, because that's kind of what we do. And it turns out that Kozlowski was seen with Whitman at some events for this Eastern European syndicate named Cherny Berrig.
Heard of him?
So I don't know who's after me.
Sounds like you've made a lot of friends. What
That's
about your
why I make the
bosses?
big bucks.
Look, hey, you're a known face. Worth a lot of money. Why aren't your bosses leaning in and giving you cover on this?
She gives you 2 quick blinks. Are you serious? I'm more disposable than the coffee girl. If I don't keep ratings up. So look, whatever you're doing, let me go with you.
As he thinks back to the message currently on his phone and the place he needs to be racing to at 1 in the morning. And I'm buying all of this.
You can, if you have any doubts, you may make an insight roll. It's not going to be an opposed roll, so all you would need is 1 success.
Do it.
If you have any doubts.
Do it. You did it.
That was the most useless roll to help me make a decision at this moment in time.
Yeah, you're buying it.
Okay.
Or you're buying that she buys it.
Mm.
Which may or may not be the same thing.
All right, hey, look. I'm about to have to take a trip. And I'm going to be driving across town. You may not enjoy the ride much, it'll be a bit bumpy, but sure, honey. I can take you to see some sights.
Second time you say honey. She says, good. It may be to take my mind off your conversation. So what is your intention to go next? To meet up at the warehouse district?
Yeah, I mean, the back of Shriver's head right now is a clock ticking down of how quickly he can make it across town.
You get into your spinner with her. She runs over, speaks to her cameraman. He goes doing whatever cameramen do. She gets into your spinner. On her way back, though, actually, you get another message.
Our phone's just blowing up today.
Yeah.
Come on.
Popular guy.
Yep.
It's the Harris Waltz campaign. They want you to make a contribution.
You get a message from the security guy at LAX.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, we caught your chick smoking hot. We couldn't keep her. She has her paperwork was approved by Governor Felon. I know, such a weird name, Felon. Phelan, I guess. Phelan. I didn't name him. It's too on the nose, I thought, but you know.
Mm-hmm.
Governor Felon.
His daughter misdemeanor.
So, yeah, you know that old movie Casablanca. It's like that. Travel orders that cannot be rescinded.
Yeah, but
we had
you slowed her down. Took a while to show the paperwork, right?
Maybe a minute. It's like she expected it. I mean, clearly not the lady's first rodeo. Sorry, dude.
Well, Space TSA, what do you get? So
Who has... Oh, go ahead. I was going to
Okay.
say, who has the closest working relationship with Quell, Wallace Corporation's PR, head of PR?
It might be me.
Okay. So before I move on to that, Shriver, what did I cut you off on?
Just that we power up the spinner.
Okay.
Shoot up and hit the lanes.
Quell sends you a message. Shu. You take it?
Oh yeah.
Actually didn't have this one prepared. Um, so it's a video call. So Quell, on your screen, she stood like the answer to a question you were too dense to ask. Her beauty was cold, detached, the kind that stopped you, not because it invited you in, but because it dared you to look closer. Her face was carved from something finer than flesh. Her eyes were polished obsidian that regarded everything and nothing as if she already knew what you were hiding. And given Wallace Corp's resources, she probably did. She seemed a dark angel enshrouded in the veil of Enoch. Her suit wasn't fashion, it was a statement. A loose black thing that wasn't made to dazzle. It was made to endure in your memory long after you walked away. Detective. And she is all business.
Yeah. So at first, I don't put the camera on. I said, yeah, Quell, just give me a second so we can have some privacy. I need to get out of here because I don't want her to see me inside of this place when I answer the call. So I'm gonna kind of go out to the sidewalk and find a spot, and then I'll turn the video on.
Actually, I imagine you and Kai are take the call by her spinner bike.
Okay,
Which is
great.
probably in the alleyway or something.
Great.
She seems a little put off by the fact that you had her on hold.
Yep. I haven't talked in a while. Everything all right?
Thank you so much for taking the call, Detective. No, everything is not all right. I have gone back and forth whether to bring in the LAPD on this. And she shows you footage, and as she narrates over it, this happened early this morning, and you see a figure. It's a sort of this green closed circuit footage, and you see a figure that you've come to see all too often on this type of grainy footage. As Ray's walks into or breaks into Wallace Corporation. Not the headquarters, just sort of one of their auxiliary buildings. And you see 20 other figures, hooded in various states of dress, carrying various implements of violence and self-protection. Nothing, no guns. They don't walk in with any guns. They walk in with bats. They walk out with body armor, automatic rifles, military hardware. Other footage spliced in at the motor pool. They walk in and take 2 squad spinners. These were Wallace Corporation security assets. Fully legal. Apparently, members of the replicant underground have decided to liberate a fair amount of military hardware. I was instructed not to involve law enforcement from the highest levels of Wallace Corporation. So I want you to appreciate the position this puts me in.
It could be real embarrassing. They start doing some damage wearing your gear.
I have little doubt that Mr. Wallace can handle that without any input from you or I.
There's no way you don't have trackers on those vehicles.
We did.
So now you don't know where anything is.
No. Just a bit of a heads up, Detective.
You let me know if you learn something, and I'll minimize exposure when this all goes down.
If you don't have anything else to add, perfunctorily, she will end the call. While that was going on, did you have anything else for her?
I think the only thing I would just say, essentially, like if you get any new information,
right,
that could be helpful. Blah blah blah. That's it.
Kai, you get a tone while he is talking to Quell.
Mm-hmm.
It is an encoded message that requires you to jump through a few hoops to see it. It is the equivalent of signal of a signal map.
Jump.
click on all the cars. Oh shit, she is a robot.
It is a video message recorded of Ray's. And he holds up a placard that he has written something on. Met a Metropolitan Museum tomorrow night. And he gives you a time.
Oh my God.
Diaz. Okay. Oh. Diaz, you are screaming over the distance between downtown LA and Sector 12. When you get a ding from your commanding officer, David Holden.
I'll unding it.
Where the hell are you going, Diaz?
I'm covered, Holden. What's going on?
I don't suppose if I ordered you to come back, it would make a difference.
I've never asked you a thing in my career. This is one of those.
I don't know that that's true. I don't want you to do anything stupid.
All right. Noted.
Mirren just dropped off a file. She pulled some more information from that sat crystal you retrieved.
Yeah.
And she cleaned up the footage from Luminolux. Oh, I'm sorry. No, well, that actually is not much importance. But she went through their paperwork and their backlog. I see. No, I'm sorry. The Esper footage, the rest of the footage that was at Canaan headquarters. Sorry, it was
okay.
Kate. Kate is the one who destroyed sat crystal in the evidence. Our mystery replicant killed Ackerman and Haverford and torched the place, but she cleaned up after him, destroying evidence. She's also in Lumina Lux's books. She seemed to be a go-between between them and someone, looks like a Rosen association. So now you're coming back, right? Do not do anything stupid.
I'll call you back.
Are you doing something stupid?
Give me 2 weeks to figure that one out. Jesus
Yep.
Christ, we'll have to
I
follow
think,
through.
I think this is a good place to call it for tonight.
All right. See you on the other side. Now that is how you pack an episode. Well done, Connell. That was fantastic.
So, well, let's just get to stars and wishes then. Start with Craig.
Really enjoyed the scene at the noodle shop with Shriver and the reporter. Really enjoyed that. And did not see coming, and this is a good thing, did not see coming, but it makes total sense for Reyes to reach out to Kai. Like that was a curveball. And it's my favorite kind of curveball, because whenever you do something like that, either you go, what the hell? Like it's nonsensical, right? It seems like when I talk about it in movies, it's unearned. It just seems to come out of that. Like as soon as I was like, of course he would, of course he'd reach out to her. So that those are I think my two big moments there. I am wishing I wish I didn't have a little soft spot for the stupid replicant. So if you were trying to make us sympathize with this killer, you've done a good job of it. I don't know if it'll be enough, but it definitely complicates things for Shu.
Mm-hmm.
Jesse.
Star, I think, is Nick's decision to take a radical action and smash the phone. But like the thing is, like, that is the break moment for the character that's been cool, calm, like basically you can't really perturb him. To see that like come out and smashes a thing without a lead up is the wake up moment. And so that's cool. Like that's the moment that you wait several episodes
Mhm.
for. And so I think it was a great choice for that. And yeah. So we got.
No wishes?
Oh, wishes, right. Yeah, I am wondering how we're going to resolve this without a massive action scene that we should not win.
Speak for yourself.
One of us might be off the planet.
So yeah, I think we are heading into the concluding act, and I am kind of curious to see where that goes.
Yeah.
Sam.
So let me ask Shriver then. So I think we know where this is going. So let's say 180 rabid cured cured replicants are rioting. Is that Shriver's problem, or is there a different resolution other than just breaking up the riots for Shriver?
I mean, so going back to episode 1,
Mhm.
Shriver was sent to do a bit degree of crowd control, and he didn't really bat an eye at that. He does see it as part of his role to try and keep the peace in some way. However, he's not likely to be chasing after, the 180 or 150 or whatever. I think I've lost track of the number, but he's not going to be chasing after all of those replicants. He's going to be looking for the head.
Yep.
Is that head Ray's?
For this moment in this scenario, see, Shriver's also jaded. Like he's younger but jaded. Like the idea, like there's a conspiracy and these people organized it. Yep. That's this world. But right now, this is the guy that's stirring up the trouble. Down the line, I think it would be interesting to come back to like, well, what does older Shriver do? Because older Shriver is somebody who could turn out to actually be a later in life militant underground. He's like, okay, I've got my list of people over the last 20 years. I'm now going to start killing people. All right, that could be older Shriver. Younger Shriver's still trying to be a little bit of a hero.
Old man Logan.
Gonna die on a tree stump somewhere.
Well, you know who is the old man here? Diaz. So Diaz spent most of this episode, the entirety of the episode, in a spinner, trying to figure out what he's going to do when he confronts his lady love. So,
Yeah.
stars and wishes.
Star, I love the noodle shop situation. That I loved how that played out. I love Dika's reaction with the tiger and then the rays. I was like, I just watched her react. I was like, that was awesome. But that's the kind of twofer for me. The wish kind of came true with a lot of these loose ends that I'm trying to piece things together. I don't know what else to wish for. I just know that we're ramping up, and I think the way things are going, and a few episodes ago it was let's bring everybody together. That's my wish and do things, but there's so much more story driven by separating. I mean, don't separate the party. It's pretty interesting what's happening here in this story. So that kind of went away. So I don't really have a wish right now. I'm wishful for at or better next episode. I don't know. I thought it was pretty good. So
does Diaz know what he's going to do when he confronts Kate now? I mean, at first you were just going to maybe try to either talk her out of leaving or taking you with her, but now
I'm going to put a little thought in that because a lot has transpired with decisions that he's made up to this point, and Nick the player has a reaction, but what would Diaz do? And I want to make sure that that's done correctly, and so I want to give it some thought.
Well, and keep in mind, you are very well practiced putting her in handcuffs.
And nothing bad ever happens at spaceports.
Actually, it's the other way around.
This is bondage theme coming out of Craig tonight.
Yeah.
Dika, I left you for last because Kai.
Oh God.
Kai has the most skin in the game.
Yeah, this is a rough one. I'll start with stars. I think I loved everyone when we got our separate calls because everybody was like, "Ah, shit, what now? what now?" And Shriver's always a treat to see him interact with actual people.
What the implication of
Always
that?
absolutely a treat. Yes.
With actual people.
always with actual, it's always great. Wishes. You know, don't I have no more wishes. I'm like, I'm good. Like everyone who has died so far has kind of deserved it.
Where does Dika think this will end?
I'm honestly probably a few of us will die. I don't see some of us surviving this, depending
think
on our next actions.
I think in our chat we need to talk about who benefits from this, because if this is if Ray's is being manipulated into doing this, we need to figure out whether Ray's has been manipulated into doing this, or if he is just burned the
This
whole
is
city
him.
down, right? Because if and like I've been thinking about it, so we'll talk about it in the chat over the next 2 weeks. But like I don't see where Churi gains anything from this, right? I mean, it can't be good for business, but we'll talk about that during the in between episodes.
So what do we got coming up on Third Floor Wars?
You do not want to miss Connell's better half this Saturday for episode 2 of VR Dead. I put them in quite a spot. So we're playing Mothership. Hell of a twist at the end of episode 1 if you have not watched it. And I literally have no idea what these 4 characters are going to do in this situation. So you definitely don't want to miss that. And then on Sunday, we are premiering Cairo Gaiden from Neon Rot. In fact, Neon Rot will be running it. It'll be 1 or 2 episodes, a little one shot. So if you're into kind of a Southeast Asian, pretty hardcore horror, I think you'll want to catch that. And then we got not spectaculars. We got Sentinels. We got all kinds of good stuff. But the big thing is if you have not watched Mothership VR Dead, you need to do that. Connell's partner is doing an amazing job, plus 3 other great cast members. And as good as I think episode 1 is, I can't wait to see what they're going to do in episode 2. So that's it. Great job, Connell.
All right.
Good night, y'all.
Thank you. Go to sleep, Nick.
Howdy friends, thank you for watching. All our content is archived and organized in playlists on the Third Floor Wars YouTube channel. Check it out. And if you could like, follow, subscribe, and even set your notifications to this channel on YouTube and Twitch, we'd appreciate it, and it'll make sure that you catch all of our content. I talk with creators, designers, and experts across the gaming landscape in every episode of our podcast, Tabletop Talk. Open up your favorite podcatcher and search for Tabletop Talk from Third Floor Wars. Support your creators. They make the content you love, and it's your support that makes it happen. If you want to help us, go to Third Floor Wars on patreon.com, and you can help us for as little as $1 a month. Thanks again. We'll see you next time. Take care.